Directed by Stephen Frears, the hit from 1984 is a fascinating British crime drama, road movie, and character study, tackling the thorniest, heaviest theme of all, death. And yes, that's how I'm kicking off my first video of the new year.
Hey, it's me.
In the hit, Willie Parker, a prolific gangster, turns against his former partners after receiving a generous offer from the London police. He's relocated to a comfortable villa in Spain after the trial, where he lives in peaceful exile for 10 years. But his old gang has no intention of letting him go that easy.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Willie is eventually picked up by two hitmen. There's Braddock, who's cold, disillusioned, and by the books, and Myron, a youthful hothead on his first job. When the apartment set aside for the hit ends up being occupied, the three take a young hostage named Maggie as collateral and embark upon a cross-country trip to Paris. At this point, you've probably noticed that this cast is stacked. John Hurt, Terrence Stamp, Tim Roth, and Laura Del Sol holding her own with these giants, And on top of that, you've got an original score by Eric Clapton, Paco de Lucia, and Roger Waters. Throughout the journey, Willie is unexpectedly tranquil, at peace with the idea of his death. He's a voracious reader and amateur philosopher who, in his own words, has had time during his exile to prepare for the eventuality of what's to come.
Death is just a stage in the journey. We're all going to get there. No exceptions. It's just a moment. We're here. And we're not here. We're somewhere else. Maybe. And it's as natural as breathing. Why should we be scared?
To that end, the film benefits from staging its existential drama amidst the gorgeous Spanish countryside. Willie's argument that death is a normal, natural process is visually foregrounded with the beauty and earthiness of the environment. Willie takes on an almost omniscient, supernatural presence staged against raging waterfalls or napping in the afternoon sun. He's good-humored and at times even helpful. This rattles his assassins, and they suspect that it's meant to.
He's up to something.
Braddock spends the film projecting authority, trying to be cool, detached, and in charge, though even his inexperienced assistant seems to recognize that the job is rapidly spiraling out of control. Braddock admires and even envies Willie's calmness and acceptance as such. But, ultimately, that's all an act.
You can't. You got to get me to Paris. Not till Paris. You can't. Not now. Oh, God.
Willie.
Willie is bullshitting himself as much, if not more, than he was bullshitting his captors. He's terrified, and when the moment of his death does come, he breaks down, he panics and flees. Because he thought he had more time, even if that more time was just one day, just one trip to Paris. As long as there's more time, we're all cool. This is what all humans do, of course, to avoid thinking about or reflecting on the inevitable. We distract ourselves with bullshit. We philosophize, we rationalize, we pretend it doesn't bother us, but we are all secretly afraid. If anything, the rebelliousness and devil-may-care sense of invulnerability one has in late adolescence through to the early 20s is when we'd actually be most prepared to die, as Maggie often is. It's ironic that she ends up being the affair's sole survivor because she takes a lot of risks. She calls for help, she attacks Braddock, she plots with the other men. Willie and Braddock, meanwhile, are trying to avoid risk whenever possible, and impose order and control on a ridiculously disordered, out-of-control situation. The two youths give in to their impulses and sow further chaos. There is typical gangster violence in the film, but what's given the spotlight is the uncomfortable prelude to it. The groveling, the pleading, the desperation. Really, that is the worst part of death, being at the precipice of fear in that moment. Then it happens and it's over, as Willie says. But the thesis of the hit is that, try though we might, no one escapes the ugliness of that final moment. Many filmmakers of great renown, such as Christopher Nolan and Wes Anderson, have singled out the hit for praise over the years, and I've returned to it quite regularly since picking up the Criterion on a whim a couple years back. It is a success for easily identifiable reasons: great performances from great actors, a great score, great cinematography in gorgeous locales, and a balance of crime film grittiness with probing philosophical inquiry. The film is a solid demonstration of how complicated ideas can find guardrails in a reliable genre film structure. It uses the emotional immediacy of a hitman story to explore human behavior in the face of the inevitable, and the result is a film that's both entertaining and thought-provoking.